Do you feel that? The weight pressing on your chest, the pounding in your head, the fire in your veins? That's not just anger. It's the awakening. For too long, you've been patient. For too long, you've swallowed your pride, silenced your voice, and endured the impossible. But now, the line is crossed. The monster they've ignored, underestimated, and provoked has risen, and nothing will ever be the same again. There's a point in every person's life where they have to choose, fight back or keep breaking. For you, that choice has been forced upon you. Day after day, you've endured the whispers, the ridicule, and the betrayal. They saw your kindness as weakness. They tested the limits of your endurance as if you were their punching bag, not a human being. You gave chances, extended forgiveness, and hoped that people could change. But some people only understand destruction. Every insult, every lie, every act of disrespect, it wasn't forgotten. It was stored away. Layer by layer, they built the cage around you, convinced you'd never break free. But they didn't realize you were counting, you were waiting, and now you've had enough. Every monster has its origin. For you, it wasn't one dramatic event, but a culmination, 1,000 little cuts, 1,000 moments where you chose peace over conflict, patience over fury. And yet, they still pushed. They pushed, thinking you'd never push back. But there's a breaking point, isn't there? It didn't happen all at once. It was subtle at first. Your smiles became scarce. Your willingness to help started to fade. The fire in your eyes, once a flicker, grew into an inferno. They didn't notice it until it was too late. The person who endured, who tolerated, who accepted less than they deserved, that person is gone. What's left is something raw, something powerful, something unstoppable. They thought they knew you. They thought they could define you with their words, control you with their actions, and break you with their apathy. But they never knew the depth of your strength. Here's the truth. Every act of cruelty they inflicted on you was a lesson. Every betrayal, a blueprint, every tear, fuel for the fire. They thought they were defeating you, but all they were doing was awakening something they couldn't handle. Now you've risen, and it terrifies them. Not because you've become evil, but because you've embraced your power. The monster isn't mindless rage, it's calculated. It's intelligent. And it doesn't seek revenge for the sake of revenge. It seeks justice. The world is not a kind place. You see that clearly now. You've lived in the shadows of others' selfishness, their greed, their inability to see past their own interests. But now, you understand the rules. In this world, you either stand or fall. You fight or you're devoured. Weakness is not an option anymore. And it's not about becoming cold or heartless. It's about survival. It's about taking the lessons of your pain and using them as weapons, as armor. The monster they awakened isn't just a force of destruction. It's a force of creation. You're rebuilding yourself from the ground up, stronger, sharper, and untouchable. They see it now, the change in you. The ones who pushed you too far are starting to realize the gravity of their mistakes. But it's too late for apologies, too late for redemption. You've outgrown their petty games, their manipulations. And now when they see you, they see the reflection of their own cruelty staring back at them. It's not your job to make them feel better about what they did. It's not your job to forgive them for what they tried to take from you. This is your reckoning. You don't need their validation anymore. You don't need their approval. You are free from the chains they tried to bind you with. And they can't handle the fact that their power over you is gone. Here's the truth they don't want you to know. The monster they fear isn't evil. It's your strength, your resilience, your refusal to be anything less than what you are. They want to call it wrong because it makes them uncomfortable. It reminds them that they failed to break you. But you're not here to make them comfortable. You're here to live, to thrive, to take everything they said you couldn't have. The monster isn't a villain. The monster is the part of you that refused to die. the part of you that grew stronger with every blow. And now, that part is leading the way. To those listening, let this be your warning. You don't have to stay in the darkness. You don't have to keep letting people push you around, disrespect you, and make you feel small. The world will try to convince you that you need to stay quiet, to stay soft, to keep bending. But there comes a time when you must rise, when you must let the monster within you awaken, not to hurt others, but to protect yourself, to claim your space, to show the world that you are not to be underestimated. You never asked to be here. You never wanted to become this version of yourself. But sometimes, the world doesn't give you a choice. It strips away your innocence, tests your patience, and forces you to fight battles you never signed up for. The darkness that once felt suffocating is now your sanctuary. You've learned to navigate its shadows, finding strength in places others fear to tread. The monster within isn't afraid of the dark. It thrives in it. It finds clarity, focus, and an unrelenting will to push forward. The world wanted you to break under its weight, but instead, you used that weight to forge yourself into something indestructible. You'll never make it without us. You're too weak. You need to change to fit in. How many lies did they feed you, hoping you'd believe them, hoping you'd stay small, stay quiet, stay dependent? But the moment you stopped listening, you saw the truth. Their words were projections of their own insecurities. They weren't trying to help you. They were trying to control you. And now that you've shattered those illusions, they don't know what to do. The monster doesn't listen to lies. It only listens to the truth. And the truth is, you never needed them. Revenge may be tempting, but true power lies in letting go. Not because they deserve forgiveness, but because you deserve peace. Holding on to their toxicity only chains you to their mistakes. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means refusing to let their actions define your future. The monster doesn't carry unnecessary baggage. It sheds the weight of the past and uses it as fuel for the journey ahead. You're no longer looking back, no longer seeking closure from people who don't deserve your attention. You're moving forward, faster and stronger than they ever imagined. Pain is a powerful teacher. It strips away illusions and forces you to confront reality. But pain doesn't have to destroy you. It can be transformed into something extraordinary. Every time they hurt you, they gave you a lesson. Every time they doubted you, they handed you motivation. They thought they were breaking you, but they were building you. Now you're stronger than ever, not despite the pain, but because of it. The monster isn't a creature of destruction. It's a force of transformation. And now it's your turn to rewrite the story. It's ironic, isn't it? The same people who laughed at your struggles now fear your strength. They whisper about the change in you, wondering when it happened, how they didn't see it coming. But the truth is, they ignored the signs. They ignored you. And now the person standing before them is unrecognizable. You don't react the way you used to. You don't bend, don't break, don't cower. Their fear is not your concern. You're not here to soothe their guilt or ease their discomfort. You're here to live, unapologetically, as the person you've become. There's a fire inside you now, a relentless, burning desire to rise above everything that tried to hold you down. It's not anger for the sake of anger. It's not destruction for the sake of destruction. This fire is your purpose, your drive, your refusal to settle for anything less than what you deserve. It's the fuel that keeps you going when the world feels against you. And the best part? This fire is eternal. No one can extinguish it. No one can take it from you. It's yours, and it's unstoppable. Some people will never understand your transformation. They'll call you cold, ruthless, unrecognizable. But that's because they're looking at you through the lens of who you used to be, not who you are now. They don't understand what it took to get here. They don't understand the sacrifices, the pain, the growth. And they don't need to. You're not living for their understanding. You're living for yourself. The monster doesn't need validation. It exists because it must, because the world demanded it, and it thrives regardless of who approves. Silence is underestimated. They expect you to lash out, to scream, to fight with words. But the monster doesn't waste energy on unnecessary noise. It acts. It moves with precision and purpose. Your silence speaks volumes. It unsettles them, makes them question their actions, their words, their power. Silence isn't weakness. It's strategy. It's knowing when to speak and when to let your presence do the talking. And now, your silence is deafening. For so long, others tried to define you. They gave you labels, assigned you roles, and dictated how you should live. But not anymore. The monster doesn't follow scripts written by others. It writes its own. It tears apart the lies and replaces them with truth. You are the author of your story now. And this time, it's not a tale of suffering. It's a tale of triumph. Standing alone isn't easy, but it's necessary. In the silence of solitude, you found clarity. In the absence of their noise, you've discovered your voice. Isolation isn't loneliness. It's freedom. It's the space you needed to rebuild, to grow, to awaken. The monster thrives in solitude. Not because it hates people, but because it doesn't need them to validate its existence. You've learned to stand alone. And in doing so, you've become invincible. Success isn't about their approval. It's not about fitting into their expectations or meeting their standards. Success is living on your terms, unapologetically and authentically. The monster doesn't chase validation. It doesn't care about fitting in. It defines success as freedom, as the ability to live without compromise. And now, you're living proof of that freedom. The person you were is gone. In their place stands someone unshaken, unbroken, and unapologetic. The monster they feared was never evil. It was always you, unfiltered, unrestrained, and undeniable. You've embraced your power, your pain, your purpose. And now, there's no turning back. The road ahead isn't easy. It never has been, and it never will be. But this time, you're different. You're walking forward, not with hesitation, but with purpose. The fear of failure that once held you back is gone. The doubts that whispered in your ear are silenced. You're no longer shackled by their opinions or paralyzed by the need to belong. Every step you take now is deliberate. Every choice you make is yours. And the path forward, no matter how uncertain, is one you own completely. They say revenge is a poison. They say it consumes the person who seeks it. But the truth is, revenge isn't about destruction. It's about justice. It's about restoring balance, about showing the world that actions have consequences. The monster doesn't seek revenge out of spite. It seeks it as a declaration that you will not be disrespected, diminished, or disregarded again. Revenge isn't your goal. It's a byproduct of reclaiming your power. And as you rise, they will feel the weight of their choices. When you awaken, the world shifts. The people who once underestimated you now feel the tremors of your growth. They see the change in your eyes, hear it in your voice, feel it in your presence. Your transformation doesn't just affect you, it challenges everyone around you. It forces them to confront their own shortcomings, their own fears, their own failures. And that's the beauty of it. Your awakening is a mirror, reflecting not just your strength but the weakness of those who doubted you. At your core, you found something unbreakable. It's not just resilience. It's an unyielding belief in yourself. A belief that no matter what happens, you will endure, you will overcome, you will rise. This core is your anchor, your foundation. It keeps you steady when the storms come. It keeps you grounded when the world tries to pull you in 100 different directions. The monster within isn't a force of chaos. It's a force of stability, of focus, of unwavering determination. The weight of their expectations is no longer yours to carry. The need to please, to conform, to meet standards that were never yours is gone. You've let go of the idea that you have to be what they want. You've embraced the reality that you are enough as you are. The monster doesn't strive to be loved or accepted. It strives to be true to itself. And that's the ultimate freedom, living without the chains of others' expectations. They'll never fully understand your strength. To them, it seems sudden, inexplicable, almost otherworldly. But you know the truth. Your strength isn't magic. It's the result of every hardship, every betrayal, every sleepless night spent questioning your worth. It's the product of relentless effort, of refusing to give up when it would have been easier to fall apart. The monster's strength isn't born overnight. It's forged in the fire of adversity. The person you were could be broken. The person you are now cannot. It's not that you're invincible. It's that you've learned how to rebuild yourself time and time again. They can try to hurt you, try to undermine you, try to tear you down. But every attempt only makes you stronger, more determined, more unshakable. The monster doesn't fear pain because it knows pain is temporary. What's permanent is the strength gained from overcoming it. Setting boundaries isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's knowing what you will and won't tolerate. It's refusing to let others dictate your worth or invade your space. The monster understands the importance of boundaries. It knows that not everyone deserves access to your energy, your time, your life. By setting boundaries, you're not shutting people out. You're protecting what matters most. Your peace, your growth, your power. Your journey isn't just about you. It's about the example you set for others, the inspiration you provide, the legacy you leave behind. Every time you rise, you show someone else that it's possible. Every time you refuse to give up, you give someone else the courage to keep going. The monster isn't just a symbol of your strength. It's a beacon for others who are still in the dark, searching for their own power. The world they tried to force you into is gone. In its place, you're building something entirely your own. A world where you're free to be who you are, where your power is celebrated, not feared. This world isn't perfect, but it's yours. And that makes all the difference. The monster doesn't wait for the world to change. It changes the world. This is the moment of clarity. The moment you realize that everything you've been through, every struggle, every setback, every betrayal has led you here. You're no longer the person they once knew. You're something more, something stronger, something unstoppable. The monster within you isn't a curse. It's a gift. It's the part of you that refuses to back down, refuses to settle, refuses to be anything less than extraordinary. And now, as you stand tall, unshaken and unafraid, you know the truth. They pushed too far. They awakened the monster, and the world will never be the same. That's all. I'm out. By the way, if you want to level up in life, don't forget to show some love by hitting the like and subscribe button. Until next time.